Yeah, this is David Dancy live with Gotham City News, reporting live from the county legislator chambers. As you can see, there's no one here, but we are here. And the reason we are here, we're here for you, the voter, the concerned citizen. We're here to listen and find out what's going to happen. What's going to happen with our elected officials? What are they going to do next? There's a lot of issues up for grabs to talk about. Today, we're specifically going to focus on the Miligrano fight, which is the $15,000 bonus that was given to a retiring county worker. She came back under contract, I think, to earn close to $30,000 a year for the exact same position. This is a common practice in government. This happens all over the country. It happens with private corporations as well. And I can remember buyouts during my time with AT&T where many of those workers did come back under contract. What's different between that time and now is the economic climate, meaning there is not much money to go around and there are not many jobs. We have spotted Legislator Chad Davis. I forgot which legislative district he's from. From the 18th District, yes, thank you, Larry. Legislator Chad Davis with the 18th District. We're going to try to track him down. Yeah, David Dancy here with Gotham City News. And as I said earlier, I luckily did track down Legislator Chad Davis from the 18th District. And I wanted to ask you some questions regarding the controversy over Miligrano's retirement and subsequent rehiring under contract. Is there anything you wanted to share about that?
Well, I have to be truthful with you guys. The overall retirement program saved the county $1.5 million, give or take, okay? The county could not say, we're going to pick and choose who gets to retire. That was the employee's decision, not ours, okay, as a county. Secondly, 62 people took advantage of that program. And 35 for now are totally retired. Those jobs won't be replaced. Wow. Again, so we're saving $1.5 million. Lynn Miligrano made a whole lot more money last year in her full job role than what the county might be paying her if this legislation passes tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. Now, as to hiring her back, Lynn didn't need the county needed her. And maybe out of 62 jobs, apparently at least 55 or more, perhaps as many as 61 jobs, mm-hmm. They're basically done, okay? We don't need them back. But Lynn had such specialized knowledge that she was sort of indispensable. Now, we used to have a full commissioner in charge of that with a staff. We reduced it down to one person, and now she's going to come back part-time. Last night after this hearing, she went off to another meeting at some town to take care of a fireman's issue, and she's making $30,000. So the county's ahead of the game financially on that as well.
Are her responsibilities the same, and does she work the same amount of time?
Well, she also had other duties in this office, too, so apparently her responsibilities as to overseeing workers' compensation are the same. Because I even asked Mike Hennessy, who voted against this bill, I said, Mike, because he thought she was coming back part-time to workers' comp. I said, my understanding is she's going to cover the full gamut of workers' compensation, okay? Because if something comes up in May or June and you have somebody new on or whatever, what are you going to, is she going to cover everything? And she is.
It's probably safe to say that if it wasn't for this buyout plan, she probably wouldn't have retired. But with that balloon payment sitting there, gave her a little bit of incentive to go out the door. There was obviously a response to that since she's needed, meaning I'm sure out of that 62 employees that did take it, there were a few more that actually probably the county could use still on the payrolls.
Yeah.
Safe to say?
Yeah, and I'm on a committee. I got to tell you, Dave, I've read over all these requests for RFPs, requests for proposals from all these different companies, and it's unbelievable amount of time and all the jargon involved in these contracts. I mean, it's not your conventional job, I can guarantee you that. Right. She did have specialized knowledge. Now, maybe the county saved money all over the years by the way they structured it, and they're going to save money this year, and they save money in the retirement program. So if you have to sacrifice what could be potential, if the public knew the overall picture, then I think that, you got to say, okay, well, as to Lynn, we got to hire her back if she's willing to even come back.
I love it because the talk of money is leading me right to the elephant in this room, this particular room. And I'm thinking about Inside House in the upcoming vote on this $1 a month. Is that what it is? $1 a year, or is it $1 a month?
That's a whole other story.
So we're thinking about saving money. We're thinking about cutting corners, and So yeah, you seem to be on the right side of this argument. You're against that, obviously, right?
Lynn Miligrano's vote on my part was a no-brainer. In fact, the guys.
I mean about Inside House. I mean, were you siding on that one?
I was against giving that away for $1 a lease. Quite frankly, in 226 to 233, the extension of that lease, I believe they should have paid some money. Now, the argument is, well, and they say, well, we needed that to get the state aid coming in. Well, the state would have cared what the lease amount was. So.
Exactly. It has no bearing whatsoever. In fact, if they have a higher burden of paying rent, I think the state factors that in and says, oh, they might need a little more help, right?
Yeah, and again, it's the year 2026. Quite frankly, they did do a phenomenal job with turning it around, and they were in the hole, and then they showed that they were profitable with their operation, substantially so. And I think by the year 2026, that's a long ways off right now. To gift away a future, especially when you had $2.7 million in public improvements in that building. Now, some people say, well, if we have to lease it to them and charge rent, then we're obligated for the heating and all this other stuff. Well, quite frankly, a lot can be changed. I don't know. I just think it was premature. We should have had a number on there, and to give it away like they did for $1 a year, I think was wrong. Well, I think what happened is the reason they didn't is they knew moving forward that it was going to be a new legislature ultimately would be in the hiring process and the figure out process, and with elections that had happened November 1st or were going to happen, that they'd have a new body and they wanted to move forward. That's what I heard last night in the committee. Well, I think that this should have been worked on in part last fall, and the fact of the matter is no one else was to fill her shoes. Now, I have to defer to some of the leadership here about that, because that's something worth looking into, because that is not a good practice. Perhaps, I'm not sure if Lynn was drawing a paycheck down or she was working, waiting for this contract to be. I do know this, that as soon as Mr. Hennessy raised questions about it, she didn't come to work. I don't believe she did not come to work, realizing, hey, I might not get paid here. And so I think there was an understanding that we'll move this forward, and it's just like in private sector. Sometimes we do work on speculation, thinking we might get it. If we don't get the job, we lose out, right? So it was speculation, perhaps. And the more I have to find out some more details on that end of it.
That was Legislator Chad Davis from the 18th District sharing a little bit of information with us for you. Transparency, that's the word of the day. I want to thank you for tuning in to Gotham City News, and we will try to do this again as soon as possible. Stay tuned.